What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Zeta here, aka Depressed Angry Birds Conspiracy Theorist here, back at it again to drop What If Deku Ate the Meta Meta no Mi, aka What If Deku Was Fire Fist Ace. Now, you guys ended up completely destroying the last video's like goal, so with last videos, I'm gonna be keeping the like goal the same. 500 likes. As soon as you guys smash that, you guys will be getting part 3, and then once you guys smash the like goal for part 3, you guys will probably be getting the finale to the series. That being said, I hope you guys go on to enjoy today's video.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
Until Deku would close his eyes and then say, "No, flame, commandment!" And immediately Deku would blast off as he would proceed to quite literally melt the 0-pointer right where it stands. Inches before it even got near Uraraka, the flames would be so powerful that Uraraka could quite literally feel it as if she was so close to the fire. Now, at this point, Uraraka would have to pretty much shield her face because of just how incredibly hot these flames are, and she would just be like, yo, this is insane, you know what I mean? She's covering her face, and her hair would pretty much just get blown all over the place, as Deku would then pretty much just be standing there on the floor saying, "You all right?" He would look at Uraraka, and immediately when he notices what he did and how close she was to the actual damage, he would quite literally proceed to throw the rubble off of her, which got charred, and grab her and say, "Sorry about that back there," as Uraraka would just be like, sure, you know, she's shy, she's angry, she's like, what do I do? But then she looked at Deku, and then she was like, whoa, this guy kind of looked good, you know what I mean? She looks at Deku and she thinks, yo, this guy does kind of look good, maybe I should forgive him, you know what I mean? And so she would essentially forgive Deku. Now, after this happens, Deku would just grab Uraraka and be like, all right then, well, I'm gonna go take you to Recovery Girl, and then from there, I got lunch with my mom afterwards. So let's make this quick. He would just pretty much throw her on his back, giving her a little piggyback ride to Recovery Girl, to which she would just get a kiss on the cheek, and then Uraraka's healing factor would then basically just be sped up a whole ton, as Deku would leave the area and not even find out whether he did good or not. You know, he never even got to compare scores to other people because he was just more or less focused on his own thing. So Deku would just think, I definitely got in there. There's no way I didn't. As from here, he pretty much just meets his mom outside, who was like, you definitely use your quirk a little bit. As Deku says, oh yeah, you saw that? She would say, honey, the explosion was massive. I could see the fire from the sky. With Deku just be like, oh yeah, huh? It is a pretty big explosion, isn't it? With her saying, yeah, but anyways, why don't we go out to get some food to celebrate? They would end up going out to some little 5-star restaurant or whatever, and to this point that Deku and his mom would end up, having a pretty good meal. They have a pretty good moment. They went out. Some professional chefs were cooking right in front of them, you know what I mean? And they started sprinkling the salt on top all fancy and all that stuff. So, it's kind of not so surprising to say that they ate good. And from here, Deku would kind of just wait about 2 days before finally Inko would come rushing into his room saying, it's here, Izuku, it's here, you know what I mean? Now, when Deku sees this letter in his mom's hand, he's like, finally, as he rushes over towards her and he goes to the living room where he then displays the video for Inko and himself to see. Now, when Inko sees All Might as the first thing that she sees, she's like, All Might? And Deku would be thinking, hey, yo, All Might, what? All Might would then be like, hi, I'm here, you know what I mean? He would then explain to Deku that he passed, how he's going to be teaching him, and how he's probably going to be one of his teachers. And Deku would actually get pretty hyped about it, because Deku in this story is still definitely a fanboy of All Might. All Might is still going to be his favorite. Ooh, should it be his favorite hero? I just thought of the fact that Endeavor exists and he literally has the same exact powers as Deku. Ooh, I almost missed a golden opportunity. Let's say that Endeavor and All Might are both relatively close when it comes to which hero he likes more. He slightly likes Endeavor just a little bit more, but Deku is shocked at the fact that the #1 hero in the world is going to be teaching him how to become a pro hero someday. Deku would be just completely just so happy, and from here they would end up going out for some ice cream because Inko was just best mom, you know what I mean? Like, she's so nice. So from here they would end up going out to get some ice cream, and then we're just gonna have a flashback, a flash forward to when Deku wakes up the morning of his UA entrance exam. Now, in stereotypical movie fashion, we're gonna have it so Deku wakes up late, he ends up pretty much getting changed just barely, and his mom has a 5-star banquet on the table, you know what I mean? Orange juice and everything. Deku at this point would look at his mom with the UA uniform on as he grabs a piece of toast, of course the iconic piece of toast, takes a sip of orange juice and completely ignores the food, which is something I could never do. Me personally, I'm getting to school late if I'm eating that good. Like, it don't even matter. Education comes second when it comes to food. But, you know, he would proceed to see that and just grab the toast and leave. He would then proceed to essentially run to the train station where he would get on and be like, come on. You know, he's pretty nerve-wracked right now. And he would finally arrive at the doors of UA. Now, it's at this point that the doors would then begin shutting because it's about 5 minutes before they close the UA gates for anybody to not enter anymore. And Deku is running barely, really late. So Deku would then proceed to say, wait, but they would almost close the door and Deku would say, whatever. He would jump up into the air, and in similar fashion to that guy from Fire Force, I don't actually watch the anime, but I mean, I've heard good things about it, but me personally, never quite got too into it. But I might consider watching it someday, but that's not the point. Anyways, though, he would pretty much shoot on top of the UA stuff, say, I'm a student from here, as he has the uniform on, and they would say, hey, don't use your quirk outside of school grounds. Deku would say, sorry, but I gotta get a class. And he would then pretty much run into a girl with blue hair. Now, when he runs into her, this girl would just look at him as he bumps into her completely by accident, and she would say, what? You know, she drops her books. Deku would be like, I'm so sorry. As in just cliche fashion, Deku would proceed to get down on, you know, his hands and knees, and he would then proceed to start helping her pick up her books, you know what I mean? Now, when he looks up at Nejire, he would be like he's just completely lost for words. That's the simplest way to put it. He is just absolutely lost for words as he looks at Nejire, and the man's little man, you know what I mean? Like his buddy that lives, you know, in his in his pants, would then start, you know, waking up. Now, when that happens, Nejire would be like, whoa, what's that third leg? No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, seriously though, he would definitely be very attracted to her. And I seriously need to stop it. Comment hashtag third leg if you made it this far. Please do. It's gonna show me that people have at least made it to the 8-minute mark video of the point of the video, and it's gonna make me feel pretty happy. So if you do that, you know, consider doing that. Anyways though, what happens here is Deku would then proceed to help her finish books, and he would then ask her, you know, he would then apologize for bumping into her, and then ask, hey, so do you know where class 1A is? And she would say, oh, you're first year? Deku would say, yeah, I'm actually running late. She would say, no kidding, I'm actually running late myself. She would say, I can walk you there if you'd like, and Deku would say, that'd be perfect. And she would then walk him there, and they would actually be taking their time, to the point where Deku would arrive at class right after Aizawa and the rest of the class are on their way to the changing rooms. Now, Deku would pretty much just sneak in with everybody else, with Nejire waving Deku off, and Mineta seeing this would be like, she's so hot, you know what I mean? As from here, Kaminari would say, where'd you find a fine piece of, you know, meat over there? As Deku would be like, oh, the girl? He would be like, yeah, the girl, like, did you not see her? She was stinking hot. Deku would be like, oh yeah, I run into her and she helped me find my way to the classroom. He would say, you're so lucky. As from here, Kaminari would say, the name's Denki Kaminari. Deku would say, name's Izuku D Midoriya. As he's like, oh, D? What does that stand for? Deku would be like, honestly, not quite sure, but it was in my mom's name and I inherited it. He would say, well, that's pretty cool. All of them would go to the fitting room, you know, they get changed, they put on their outfits, they meet Aizawa outside, yada yada yada, you guys know the drill. And from here, Aizawa would toss the ball over towards Deku's direction. Bakugo would be like, huh? What? as immediately Aizawa would explain that he's got the higher score, so he's going to show off in front of the class for a bit. With Bakugo just gritting his teeth with monologuing inside of his head, thinking that damn Ace got the better of me once again. As you know, that's basically what Bakugo calls Deku. He calls him an ace, and he doesn't say it in like the good way. He says it in like a belittling way. I don't know how to put it, but like you call somebody a good, he says it in a sarcastic manner. Yeah, that's right, sarcastic manner. And that's pretty much where Deku's gonna get his nickname from Bakugo, when he inevitably chooses his hero name. However, what I'm gonna be having happen here is Aizawa would tell Deku to throw the ball. Deku would grab the ball and pretty much be like, so I just throw it? And Aizawa would say, sure, that's the gist of it. Deku would immediately then look at the class and ask them all to step back, because if they don't, they're gonna get blown back by his firepower. As everybody would be like, we'll be fine. And you know, at this point, Deku would say, all right, well, if you say so. He would then immediately like start charging up his flame abilities, as he would then say, flame commandment, as from here a gigantic flame would just burst out of his hand, and like this explosion would go off, which would send the ball flying, let's say 36,000 meters away. Why not 36,000 meters, as the ball would just go off like an insane distance. And everybody in the class, when they see the score, would just be like, that's insane. As soon as Todoroki sees flames go off of Deku, however, Todoroki would have like a little bit of a like he wouldn't like Deku literally based off the fact that he has a fire quirk, which is the most shallow thing in the world. But seeing as Todoroki hated his father, doesn't want to use his quirk because he believes it's his dad's ability, and he believes all fire is his dad's, you could kind of see where I'm making this connection from. So Todoroki seeing this flame ability come off Deku, he's like, hey, yo, I don't like this. So, being Todoroki, he would end up pretty much waltzing over towards Deku and just asking how his quirk works. Deku would say that it's not a quirk, and Todoroki would say, yeah, right, as Deku would have been like, oh, let it slip. He'd be like, my quirk is just a fire-based quirk. It's pretty simple. Todoroki would say, thought so, as he would then proceed to give Deku a bad glare and say that I'm your counter opposite. If there's anybody you're gonna need to look out for during this whole thing, it's gonna be me. With Deku saying, so, you got an ice quirk or water quirk? He would say, please don't say water quirk, as Todoroki would say ice. What, you scared? As from here, Todoroki would let a little bit of ice go off, as Aizawa would cancel, he would think he would cancel both of their quirks, but he would cancel Todoroki's, and Deku would simply stand there with a smirk on his face, as, the girls in the class 1A are like, yo, that guy over there, he kind of looking good. Aizawa at this point would be like, all right, problem children, I don't have time for this. There's other pressing matters at hand right now, so if you don't mind, I'd like to get started with the other factions of the test. The entire test would then go by, with Deku using his flame abilities to essentially ace everything, pun intended, and he would get pretty amazing scores when it comes to anything that he was able to actually use his fire abilities for. He would pretty much end up being number one when it comes to the bracket and seeing who the best was out of the class, and everybody would be pretty shocked that Deku scores, you know what I mean? He did really good. And a lot of the girls are like, yo, he's attractive. Mineta, Kaminari, you're totally jealous of him. Bakugo was angry because of the fact that he believes that they're in a competition, that Deku's doing all this to purposefully belittle him. You know how Bakugo is. Todoroki already has a little bit of a grudge, and the whole picture is just starting to slowly get painted for Deku as to how he's going to have his life be for the following next 3 years. Now, as soon as everything's done, Bakugo would pretty much grab his stuff and he would kind of grunt before going out of the door, saying, Deku, I'm gonna get stronger than you someday, and you'll be kissing my boot. You're gonna be just like Endeavor, always stuck as number 2. Just wait on it, Deku. Or no, just wait on it, Ace. As he would say it in like a little sarcastic manner, Deku would be like, sure thing. And from here, Bakugo would walk out of the door. And after that, Todoroki, who's also in the changing room, would be like he said, you better watch yourself because it's not like you only have one rival. Well, at least that one doesn't really count. I'm the one you should be worried about. I'm your polar opposite. And I'm gonna make sure that I show you up in every respective way possible. Today was just a fluke. Todoroki got second place. better than Momo because he try hard. Like this man went full try hard mode when he saw that there was someone with the fire quirk. So after that, what ends up happening here is Deku just pretty much ends up getting in on the train after, and then he proceeds to just walk home. Now, when Deku ends up walking home, he ends up pretty much going on his tablet, you know what I mean? No, not his tablet. He ends up hopping on his PC, you know what I mean? The man just got home from school. Inko whipped up some dinner, you know what I mean? And he's pretty much just scrolling through the channels. He's just scrolling on YouTube thinking, what do I watch today? When all of a sudden, he sees a channel by the name of Zether. Now, he goes over towards the channel, clicks on a video, and immediately the man is just like, yo, this is awesome. Anime what ifs? Kinda lit. He immediately proceeds to subscribe, just like you guys should, by the way. As you know, he then proceeds to like the videos because it helps with the algorithm. And then when he clicks on one of the videos, which is What If Deku's Fire Fist Ace Part 1, he ends up seeing, hey yo, this guy Zether's doing a giveaway? And that's right, folks, I am definitely doing a giveaway. Now, this giveaway doesn't consist of anything massive or anything like too insane. It's actually just a Bakugo My Hero Academia figurine. It's super dope. Up on screen, you guys should be seeing a couple of pictures of what it looks like IRL, the box, and its size comparison to the box. Now, the figure itself is honestly super dope, and seeing as I truly really enjoyed it for myself, I figured that a couple of fans might actually want one for their own. You know, you guys don't have to waste any money, it's free. So I figured I'd just pick up a second one and end up doing a giveaway with it on the channel. It's actually really dope, and you know, it's a pretty cool thing to look at in your room. So in case you guys want to win it for the video, all you literally have to do is subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video. Honestly, just that won't really help you that much, but you know, it'll help me. And turn on post notifications so you are constantly updated on the next couple of videos, because you're definitely going to need to be updated. Because the way you guys will be entered is by pretty much just commenting hashtag giveaway under my videos, my next videos, and I'm just going to be going through them and then selecting a bunch of random people from each video. Now from there, I'm going to just kind of put it into a wheel, click on it a bunch, whoever it lands on, I'm going to be like messaging them, and then I'm going to give them the statue. So if you guys want a chance to enter in the giveaway, then I would definitely consider going down below, commenting hashtag giveaway, and entering yourself for the chance to win this awesome Bakugo statue. That being said, right back into the video. So giveaway aside, we continue the story with Deku pretty much waking up the next morning after binging my content all day and night. Now, is that a little self-centered and conceited? Yes. Am I going to apologize for that? No. Anyways though, so yeah, you know, Deku would wake up the next day and he would make his way towards school. Now, when Deku does make his way towards school, obviously he ends up taking the train to get there, and when he arrives to his classroom, he ends up noticing that there's the same girl that he ran into the other day, just kind of sitting there. Nejire would be there. Now, Deku would be like, yo, what's up? What are you doing here? And Nejire would actually end up looking at Deku, being like, oh, hey, I ended up coming to your classroom to see if you were here. She said that she actually wanted to talk to him about something. Now, Deku hearing this would say, you want to talk to me? And, you know, he would then ask her, what about? She would say, you have a really powerful fire quirk, don't you? As Deku would say, oh, about my quirk. All right. As he would say, sure, I'll entertain it. He would then say, what about my quirk? She would then begin to ask him, you know, how it works and, you know, yada. And once they begin talking, the conversation would change to something else about what Nejire likes, you know, what are her dislikes, you know, how does she spend her time? She would end up asking him if he's single, you know, potentially seeing anybody. And both of them would pretty much end up realizing what this is. Deku would be like, wait, like, are you here trying to get conversation out of me? And Nejire would just blush a little bit, turn just a little bit away from Deku, as she's like, no, it wasn't like that, but I gotta go to class. She would then proceed to leave him, and Deku would then smile as Kaminari was just watching from the window with Mineta alongside him, and Kirishima just being like, we caught this man in 4K. As from here, you know, they end up seeing Deku walk in the class, and they're like, dude, you're talking to a third year. Deku would say, what? A third year? Really? And they would then say, yeah, third year. And then he would say, yeah, I know. What's the big deal? She told me. They'd say, what? And you're not freaking out about it? Like, she's older than you, dude. Deku would say, nah, bro, I like my MILLFS. You know, I like me a cougar. As they would be like, hey, yo, you know what I mean? Like, they're like, pause. Mineta would be like, actually, I kind of agree with Deku over here, you know what I mean? And then Aizawa would just be like, all right, guys, your teacher's gonna be coming in soon. Everybody would be like, our teacher? Aren't you already here? Aizawa would zip up his sleeping bag and literally fall on the ground as he proceeds to pass out. And shortly afterwards, a big, huge, beefy man would walk in, this being All Might. Now, All Might would be like, I am here, so everybody shut up and be quiet. Because everybody's like, yo, it's All Might, you know what I mean? Like, from here, All Might would then start telling them how, you know, he's going to be teaching them hero activities, telling them how they're going to be having their final class of the day, be hero training, and then proceeding to tell them that they need to put the costumes on, which are on the left side of the classroom, inside of the wall, which was just insane. And then they all pretty much begin to be told by All Might, the clothes make the pros, so get suited up and meet me outside. Everybody would be like, are we going to get kicked out of school today? And All Might would just be like, no, that's just something Aizawa says sometimes. As you know, he knows full well Aizawa don't play no games. He will actually expel people and they're done for, you know what I mean? So, you know, from here, everybody would get changed, meet him outside, to which All Might would then proceed to pretty much explain the rules of what they're going to be doing today. And this is where, you know, Deku would then proceed to just be like, so we're going to be doing like 2-on-2 fights? That's going to be interesting. Heroes versus villains. Oh, right. You know what I mean? Like, he's pretty pumped up for it. This is when everybody would start drawing lots or like names or something like that. And eventually everybody would pretty much end up getting their teams chosen. Now, when the lots are all drawn, it would actually be stated that Deku, his teammate, is actually going to be Mineta. Now, whatever teammate Mineta had in the original is going to be replaced by Uraraka, and Deku is actually going to be having to fight against 2 people this time. Not Todoroki, no, not Ida and Bakugo, but Todoroki and Bakugo. And from here, what would end up actually happening is Bakugo would smile and then say, it's your grave, loser. And from here, you know, he goes over to Todoroki and say, listen here, Icy Hot, don't get in my way. Deku, that ace bastard, he's mine. As from here, Todoroki would say, sure thing. He would give Deku like a stare of you're going down, and Deku would just look at Mineta thinking, why did I have to get this guy as my partner? Mineta just smiling, thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna pass this easily, you know what I mean? And then they would end up being given about 5 minutes to each give a strategy to each other, to which Bakugo and Todoroki wouldn't make any strategy because they're both like huge egos and they're not about to ask each other for help, you know what I mean? So from here, what would end up essentially going down is Deku and Mineta would enter the building. A couple of minutes later, let's say 3, when they're pretty much on the 3rd floor, Bakugo would come flying in using his explosion, screaming, "Hey, Ace, where are you?" You know what I mean? Just blasting away, saying, "Die!" You know, he would eventually turn the corner and leap at Deku with an explosion in hand, as he would then say, "It's over," with one move, as he would then shoot an explosion at Deku, screaming, "AP shot!" And a concentrated blast from all 5 fingers would form as it would shoot straight at Deku's direction. Now, when the explosion goes at Deku's direction, it would go straight through his stomach, and everybody watching with the video live feed would be like, "What? He took it too far." All Might would be like, not to worry, because he knows, you know, what's going on. And then when Deku just pretty much gets pierced with that, he would then fall onto one knee, pretty much faking as if he actually got hurt. As at this point, Bakugo would say, "Finally, my explosions are strong enough to hurt you now." As, you know, from here, Deku would then look up at Bakugo and say, "Got you." He would immediately say, "Fire cage." As from here, Bakugo's entire body would get surrounded by a literal prism of fire. Like, fire begins to slowly burn away at his costume, and it's at this point that Deku would say, you know, "You're gonna be trapped in that until I finish this battle." With Mineta saying, "Isn't he gonna like literally get burned alive?" Deku would say, "Oh, that's right." He would take away the cage and then proceed to quite literally like Bakugo would just be like, "Damn you, Deku, don't make a fool out of me." You know what I mean? He would take off the pin from his gauntlet, and the explosion would go through the entire hallway, causing the entirety of it to pretty much be charred. Mineta to actually get hit with the explosion, which damaged him pretty heavily. If it wasn't for Deku, the fact that he was here to kind of like shield him from like 75% of it. Mineta still gets hurt though. And then when Deku sees the firepower that, you know, Bakugo just used against him, He would say, you know, Bakugo, I never quite really hated you. You know, we used to be childhood friends, and to some degree, I always figured maybe someday you were gonna get over this ego god phase of yours. But no, it seems that every time that I let you walk away unscathed, your ego just seems to grow more and more. And without somebody here to check you, I think that you're gonna get too big of a head for yourself. So I think it's about time that I show you the difference between my flames and your explosions. He would say, you ready, you terrorist? It's from here. Bakugo would say, terrorist. Deku would say, your power only destroys, while mine is flames that I can actually control. Mine won't cause any friendly fire damage. Let me show you the difference between my finesse and yours. As in an instant, Deku would begin charging an attack right on all 5 fingers. All 5 of them would immediately light ablaze, and Deku would aim his fingers right at Bakugo's direction. Beams of flame would then shoot off of his hands as Bakugo would dodge the first 4, and the 5th one would hit Bakugo, causing him to get thrown into a wall. As from here, Deku would blitz at Bakugo in just completely insane speeds, as he would then proceed to grab Bakugo by the throat, mind you, slam him into a wall, causing him to go into the next room, and then he would step through it as Bakugo's laying on the floor, bloodied, burned, and battered, and Deku would then proceed to say, good riddance, as he would stomp on Bakugo's chest and then proceed to shoot 2 beams from his fingers at Bakugo's arms, you know what I mean? And it would create 2 flame little handcuffs tying him to the ground. And mind you, these flames don't even burn Bakugo. And it's so strange because you would expect fire to be hot, right? But Deku's actually learned to control the heat and temperature of his flames so that if he wishes for the flames not to hurt anybody, they literally won't hurt nobody, you know what I mean? And so from here, Bakugo would just be like, what? But after this, he would pretty much just be said that he's captured and he's out of the game. Deku would tell Mineta, hey, stay here. It's not safe for you to keep going where I'm gonna go. It's from here, the battle between fire and ice will now begin. Deku would then begin making his way towards the 4th and final floor of the building, where Todoroki is waiting nearby the bomb, and Todoroki would shut his eyes thinking, should be about enough time for him to get to the 3rd and 4th floor. Todoroki would then stomp his foot on the ground, causing the entire 3rd and 4th floor to pretty much be covered in ice. Mineta's in the 2nd floor, by the way, and Deku would immediately feel shivers down his spine, thinking, a little cold, huh? And in case you guys are wondering, what's Deku's hero outfit? Come on, you guys obviously know it's Ace's outfit. Like it's so awesome. Yeah, I know shirtless Deku definitely caused some of the girls to have a little bit of a nosebleed, just a little bit, but none of them actually were caught with it. And yeah, Deku just proceeds to rush up there thinking, Jesus, this guy's ice is cold. As he runs up there, he would then see Todoroki as he would say, it's time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to be ending What If Deku Was Fire Fist Ace Part 2. If you guys want Part 3 and 4 of this series to come out, then definitely consider going down below and commenting #more as well as #giveaway for a chance to be entered for the Bakugo statue. Now, if you guys want this video to, come out even faster, you can consider liking the video to show me that you guys want Part 3, of this to come out immediately. With that being said, it has been your boy Zether, and I am signing out.